Hey, it's Steve once again with Manic RC. Today I'm going to be doing an overhaul on the SCX24 Gladiator. Actually came into work 2 hours early. It's like 6 in the morning. So I could have a couple hours to work on it because I'm going to have a busy night. So I'll work on it at this morning and at lunch. But this thing's in bad shape. When I built it or upgraded it, I remember it's been a year or so. I was in a hurry and I really didn't build the shocks the way I wanted to, and had softer springs. And after that, I got the metal bumper and the metal sliders, which added a lot of weight. And if you look at the shocks, let me push down on the front here. Nothing. The back's a little springier, but there's barely any oil in there. Very loose. Not very drivable right now. So I'm going to take it apart, figure out the things that are wrong, and specifically rebuild the shocks. I've got Gladiator harder shocks that I never installed, so I'm going to be putting those in, using 20 weight oil to redo the shocks. And this time I'm going to take them completely apart and I'm going to lubricate them with this Team Associated green slime, which I've used on my bigger shocks. It lubricates everything, prevents leaks, and I'm gonna give that a try and take my time and see what I can do, get this thing back up to par. Another thing is I think that the drive shafts, the drive shafts are out of phase on it. So I'll be correcting that. And then at some point I'll go over all of the hop-ups. So let me start by getting out the wrenches and getting this thing taken apart. And I'll get back with you. So yeah, the top's off, and the first thing I noticed is that the shocks are, it's hard to see, they're kind of going down and inward at a slope, so I'm gonna need to put some spacers right here at the top, because I can feel the shocks rubbing a little bit. Not so bad on that side. This side you can hear it. So I'm going to take the tires off and then get the shocks off, and the shocks are the first thing that I'm going to do. See if I can get those working right. Well, the front shocks are off, and one thing I can tell you straight from the top was one side had a softer spring and the other side had a harder spring. So that explains some of that. Yeah, this one's really messed up. Let me take the shocks apart and grease them up and fill them with oil and put the harder springs on the front and see if that makes a difference. So here's the green slime. I'm getting ready to put on the little O-rings. I'm not going to take the whole inner body apart, but there's an O-ring, a plastic spacer, another O-ring, and then another plastic spacer. So I'm gonna grease those up just a little bit with the green slime, and then fill them with the 20 weight oil and see what that does. Okay, with the green slime, the new oil, I filled the oil about 3/4 of the way up. It feels a lot softer. Yeah, let me do the next one. Okay, both of those shocks are rebuilt with the green slime and the oil about 3/4 of the way up. They're very smooth, and I'm getting ready to put them back on, but first I'm gonna go ahead and phase the drive shafts in the front, which are completely out of phase, and that can cause problems. So let me jump onto that and do that. Then I'm gonna put the shocks and tires back on and see what kind of rebound I get off that. Oh yeah, that's much better, but I'm going to need a spacer right here because the shock is at a little bit too much of an angle and it binds. So let me take those off and see what kind of spacers I have. Yeah, so a 2mm spacer right here seemed to have done the trick. No more binding. It'll lower a bit with that heavy body, but it doesn't bind when it flexes anymore. So yeah, I think I'll call the front done. Now time to take care of the rear. So here it is, all finished. I didn't have the time to finish it at work because I got really busy and didn't really get to take a lunch. So brought it home and finished it last night. Got the shocks all done. Yeah, I highly suggest getting the green slime for these little Injora shocks. They made a huge difference, and I was able to tighten up the bottom caps all the way. They still flex and work right. Everything is nice and squishy, but not too squishy. Nothing's sticking. Yeah, real happy. I will say I did put all those upgrades on and did a sucky job at it, but at the time last year I had in my little workspace, I had one old fluorescent light, one bulb, and it was dark. It was not, you know, it was dark. I was really embarrassed when I opened it up and found that I had put 2 different shock springs on the front, but I could barely see. So now that the shocks are done and it's runnable, let me show you the hop-ups that I've put on it. Okay, first one is the Injora 50 turn little purple brushed motor. These things are super cheap, and what a difference. Night and day difference from the stock motor. It crawls really well. I'm not going brushless with this or anything. This is how it's going to run. If the motor burns out, so be it. I'll buy another one. Yeah, it works really well. So the other thing is, I went ahead again and put the Emax servo. I like those. Again, they're cheap. And I put the Injora steering links, which I need to put my little rubber O-rings here and here to close that gap where I had to extend it because the Injora servos are off center. I put the Injora brass cover axle on there on the front, and I put it on the back as well. And I put the Injora rock sliders on there, metal, heavy, but they look good. Now with the shocks the way they are, I think they're gonna be fine on there. So there they are. And then I put the Injora front bumper that came with the little D-rings. I think it looks really cool. I wish that it could be closer to the front of the truck, but there's some little pins in there that's as far as you can get it in. I also put in Injora steering knuckles. I'll show you those. Let me get the tire off. Yeah, so there's the little Injora brass steering knuckle. They're so much cheaper than the Axial ones, and they weigh just as much. They work well, they fit well, and yeah, they're nice. I highly suggest you check out Injora parts for these little guys. Some people have had issues, but I haven't had any yet. So anyway, that's the steering knuckles. And just like all my other rigs, I've got the stainless links, stainless drive shaft, brass skid plate. Stuff just bolts up really nice. Keeps the truck from, well, it flexes like it's supposed to. It doesn't bend all around. So yeah, that's it for this build. I was going to take it out and run it, but it rained last night. So if it dries up, I'm gonna take it out and give it a run, get some video on that, maybe make a couple shorts of it running so you can see that. And that's it for this one. This was the Gladiator Overhaul, and I'm glad I took the time to do it. I've been focused on my TRX4Ms recently, but it was nice to pull out the little SCX24 and work on those. I think I'm going to pull out another one. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day. And of course, you guys be safe out there. The world's a crazy place. Stay at home. Stay in your bubble. Later.